Welcome to the Might in Motion podcast, where we empower leaders like you to navigate both their personal and professional journeys. Are you a manager hungry to reshape the course of your career? I'm your host, Mariana Kinney, and for the past 24 years, I've been a Fortune 50 leader, absorbing invaluable lessons from industry luminaries on how to break free from limiting beliefs and habits. On the Might in Motion podcast, our compass is guided by the 4 M's: motivation, momentum, mindfulness, and might. Each episode, we dive into conversations with leaders from Fortune companies, doctors, and entrepreneurs. Their stories, their might in motion, will not just captivate you, but ignite the spark within. Join us as we unravel the secrets to success, providing you with the inspiration to craft your own action plan and prepare yourself towards your goals. This is your journey, your might in motion. Welcome to the podcast that fuels your aspirations. Welcome to Might in Motion. Today's episode is sponsored by Pantheon FM. Are you struggling to get a constant flow of clients? Meet the Pantheon. It's an exclusive network of entrepreneurs changing the world through entrepreneurship. Sell more of your high-ticket programs by becoming an icon in your industry who rallies together in what we call the Pantheon. For more information, contact me directly, Mariana Kinney, your host of today's episode. Colleen Biggs is a 22-year business strategist who empowers business leaders to expand their influence, to attract the right clients, and drive more profits. She has launched over 340 businesses, is a keynote speaker, author to 7 #1 international bestsellers, with the latest being Step into the Spotlight to Expand Your Influence, the CEO and founder of the Leap community, and was awarded the Most Inspirational Leaders in Business and Entrepreneur of the Year in 2023. Colleen provides women with a community of entrepreneurs who take the leap daily and realize that their network is their net worth. Hey, Colleen, welcome to Might in Motion.
Hello, Mariana. How are you today?
I am great. And as we talked in the green room, we both fueled up a little bit differently prior to this. And there's no judgment, but I am impressed by your choice of tuna versus my choice of a chocolate chip cookie. But you know, it takes everything, right? We got to find balance. I'm excited to have you here. I loved our conversation we had in the green room, and we actually have had some conversations over the past few months. You've been really inspirational to me personally, and I'm really excited to bring your message to the Might in Motion community.
Yeah, I think just the name Might in Motion, right, is so much about our strength, our determination. And that is always going to be what's the biggest determinant that separates people from success to failure or not
Yeah.
successful. I guess I would say, because my business was built on failure, right? Relationships built on failure, being a mom built on failure. Failure is a good thing, but the difference between those that are successful and those that struggle and aren't really has a lot to do with that might,
Mm-hmm.
that determination. Like I said, I think of Mighty Mouse, right? Like I think of
Yes.
like Mighty Mouse, that tiny little mouse, and he's so little but can make such a big ripple. And that's kind of how I feel about myself, you know. I might not be big in stature. I'm a tiny little person, you know. I'm 5'1" on a good day. In heels, I'm like 5'5".
There you
And
go.
then yeah, and you know, I'm just kind of an itty bitty person, but I want to get out there and make a big impact because I want to improve the lives of other people. Just comes down to that. It's just
Yeah.
a good thing. Feels good.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love how, we were talking about goals in the green room as well. And, goals, some people set them before the beginning of the year, but throughout the year, you should always be reevaluating your goals, right? There's some that you might set that are short term, some that might be longer term. And I know, in the past, you and I had actually talked about a 12-week goal process that you yourself leverage. Can you share with the audience, what does that mean? Like, how does Colleen go about and evaluate her goals and maybe reestablish them in the 12-week mark if need be?
Honestly, I read a book called The 12-Week Year. I
Mhm.
applied it to my goals and it worked. And I was like, why haven't I been doing this forever? It's a one simple tweak that
Mhm.
most people don't utilize. Two, I'm going to go with two. One is measuring the lead numbers. Most people don't measure their effort. So that's the easiest way to say it. You measure your effort. So you create an action plan. Then you have to measure those actions, meaning, did I do it? Did I not do it? Did I do it halfway? And then you measure your lag numbers, which are your results. Then the last piece of it is the accountability. So you have a weekly accountability check-in where you have to come to the meeting and say, my number's 85%. If you're below a 75%, most likely you won't hit your goals. So the accountability and the measuring keeps you on track to hitting those goals. Like I said before we went live, if you're putting the effort, the energy, the passion, everything, and whatever you're driving it toward will come to fruition. So I started doing this last year, did them every quarter. I'm rinsing and repeating it because it was so successful for the women that joined the 12-week year. And I'm basically rinsing and repeating the book and the program and supporting people in it to say, go buy the book, go read
Mhm.
the book. Let's apply this to your business. I'm just like a moderator, I guess is a good word for it. I feel like you build it and they'll come. So if I put it together and organize it, and say, here's a great opportunity for you to be supported in this goal attainment. They say most people can get done in 12 weeks what others get done in a year. And if you think about that and you set your goal for the year, most people start looking at their goals at the second half to the end of the year to see, where am I? Did I reach my goal for maybe net profit, or did I reach my goal for weight? And then they try and get really serious toward the end of the year to make it happen and like have to throw a Hail Mary, or they just give up altogether because there's no way they're going to make that goal. So when you measure it, you pay attention to it, it's as simple as using an app to measure your calories, coming in and going out. And when you measure them and you actually log what you eat every day, you realize, like, holy crap, I didn't realize I'm eating, 2,400 calories a day. And I'm recommended to eat 1,200. No wonder why I've been gaining weight.
Right.
Measure, 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 measure. Yeah.
Right. I love it. I'm gonna kind of slide over here because what you're saying rings true to me. So mine is pen and paper, right? And so I've got my annual goals. I've got monthly. I kind of break it down into months, and you can break it into quarters or whatever. But like every day, I've got a checkbox. Like, did I do something today that would you know help my mental space? Right? That could be, reflection, whatever it is, meditation, etc. So like I'll set that out and then I literally check off the day. Right? So I know, hey, I did it. Do I have more wins versus losses? I love the philosophy of, did I win the day? If I win enough days, I can win the week. If I win enough weeks, I win the year. Right? So
Yeah.
I love that. And you think about being in the corporate space, most
Mm,
people, they already have goals they set up for work, right? You have a weekly metrics call, and you know where you stand. We don't always do it personally, and so making that pivot of just picking not 15 million goals for me, it's like, what are my four?
yeah.
And what's attainable in those four to be able to really be able to start moving the needle.
For the 12-week year, I don't allow anyone to choose any more than two. I
Mm,
feel like it's too overwhelming,
yeah.
and, there's a lot of action steps that can go into achieving 2 goals depending upon how big they are, and one might be a smaller kind of subsidiary of a bigger goal, which is
Hmm.
fine, but I would say 2 is the max in a 12-week period that you're working on. Back in the day, probably 15 years ago when I was working with a lot of brick and mortar clients, I would have them look at their quarterly goal of what they wanted to achieve, then break it down by month, and then I would break it down by week and then by day. And I would say, now I want you to get the buy-in of the staff. So now I
Yeah.
want you to get your entire team together and show them, in order for us to reach this quarterly goal, which leads into the annual goal,
Hmm.
this is what we need to do every day. So now everyone's focused on the number. Maybe it's 2 people you need to enroll that day, 5 people. If you're looking at a quarterly goal and at the end of the month, you're like, we're short,
Yeah.
20 people. Now, if you're looking at it by day, you might be short one that day and know what your new number is tomorrow. So when you're paying attention to it every day, it's forefront, it's right in front of you. And every single one of those clients that I worked with them and chunking that down and making it really obtainable goals every day. And then they would set like celebrations for their staff. If we all hit
Yeah.
it, our goal this week, I'm bringing in pizza on Friday. If we all do this, everyone gets a celebration. If we hit it in the quarter, we all go out and we're going to go out for the evening to do dinner and bowling or whatever it might be. So I really believe that kind of that combination of the celebrations and the combination of the achievement and breaking that down is what's going to give us the benefit to be able to reach that goal. If we have to set ourselves up for success, it just doesn't fall in our lap,
Right.
right? Mariana,
Right.
it doesn't work that way.
No,
Yeah.
no, nobody's really an overnight success. It took, 10 years to become an overnight success, right?
Even Justin Bieber did not become an overnight
No.
success like everyone thinks they do. Kelly Clarkson won the first American Idol. She was a singer for years before she went on that show. She didn't sing her first time on that show. So, yes, did the fame of that show bring her a record deal? Absolutely, it did. But she had to go through all of that to get to that stage, to get, to all of the auditions it took behind the scenes that no one took to get to that stage. So, again, it's something that that we're going to be focusing on for several years. So why not hone that in the background, before you become that hot success? Because then everyone wants a piece of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in the background, everybody can see leap in big words, right? So, can you tell us more about take the leap and what it means? Why is networking so important? All the fun stuff.
I am going to ask you that question. When I say the words take the leap, what immediately comes to your mind?
Just doing it, jumping. I envision myself on the edge of a cliff, right? And just having the gumption to just jump.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm one of those people, I'm terrified of heights, right? This past weekend we went took the kids to this place and we did all these crazy water slide ridiculous things that normally I would not do, but I'm like, okay, I got to do it. I got to suck it up. Got to suck it up. Just go and try the scariest one. It's just water. you know.
Now, if I were to say the word leadership, what would you
Mhm.
say to leadership? How does that feel?
Ooh, that feels more stable to me.
Mm.
And that it's an opportunity to really be able to help others propel themselves.
Okay, so I'm glad that you said that for both of those. There was no right answer. But what was the different feeling between taking the leap and leadership to you?
Leaping, I was nervous, like I had that little nervousness in my stomach. Leadership, I felt a sense of calm and confidence.
Yeah. So that is the difference exactly of what I do versus what leadership is. Do I create leaders? Yes. But here's the difference. Leadership is generally you being in this kind of bubble of what you're comfortable with. When I
Mhm.
say take the leap, and now I want you to be doing things that make you uncomfortable, I want you to be doing things that you wouldn't normally do because you're too scared. You have fear. That doesn't feel like I'm going to be able to be successful. I don't know if I'm going to land on my 2 feet. What if my business doesn't work? What if I can't get that other job? There's these
Mm.
uncertainties that exist when you take the leap. So it's really pushing people out of that comfort zone. There's no way we could possibly reach our highest performance level without being pushed past our most comfortable spot. I take Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Serena Williams. I could just go on and on with athletes. They're one of the best. Bruce Jenner, right? I could go on with some of the best athletes of all time.
Mhm.
And unless you push the envelope and ask somebody else to kind of guide you and help you and show you outside these blind points of what you have, you're never really going to push yourself beyond, because our bodies naturally want to keep us safe. Our minds will calculate to keep us safe. That's how they,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, how they work. So because of that, taking the leap, why I created that podcast, the Leap brand, is really all about taking the leap and doing things that are outside your ordinary. So if you would never network. If you would never leave corporate and start a business, you should start a business. All of these things can be done with the right support, and you'll never, ever, ever know, Mariana, what you are made of if you never take a leap, if
Yeah.
you never try. You
Yeah.
just will never know if it's possible. And I always say, write a list. What could go right? What could go wrong?
Right.
If death is not on the list, go for it. Like, we can recover from everything else. I was willing to sell my house, change my entire lifestyle. I didn't care if I had to live in a trailer, whatever I had to do to make my business work. I was prepared. I was burned all the boats, not bridges. I didn't burn bridges with people. I
Right.
burned the boats, which were options of retreat. When you burn the
Mm.
boats, you're saying, I'm not going to go back. This is the way that I'm going, and I'm going to go down this path. You might shift paths, but you never go backwards.
Right.
So, what do you ever really know what you're made of if you don't ever take a leap in your life?
Yeah.
Mm, that's
That's powerful right there. I love the whole thought of burning the boats is removing the options for retreat. That is a powerful statement because so many times, you see this in corporate America. If people move from one team to the other, all of a sudden they just light a fire. And now you have burned that bridge or that connection if you do things the wrong way. And inevitably, in a long career, you're going to come right back and you might report to that person someday, or they might work for you again, or whatever the case may be. So I love that whole don't burn the bridge, burn the boat, and it's really going to propel you forward. That's powerful.
Yeah, I really do feel that there are just so many people walking around almost like in a trance, I guess.
Mhm.
Get up, make the coffee, get in the shower, get ready, drive to work, do their work. I used to do that. I would go to work, and I sometimes would realize about 10 minutes before I got there, I don't remember where I just drove for the past, like, 30 minutes. I was such on autopilot,
Yeah.
and I want more out of life. I want first times. I want,
Mm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want last times. I want, new opportunities. I want new faces. I wanna meet new people. I wanna be nervous. I had this conversation with my little tiny granddaughter the other day. She said, I'm really scared. I don't want to do that again. I'm really scared. And I said, are you scared or is it thrilling?
Mm.
And she said, I don't know, because I don't think she knew what the word thrilling meant.
Right.
So I said, let me explain. Are you scared, meaning you fear for your life, like you are really scared? It makes you want to cry. Or are you excited to where it seems a little scary, but you're really excited about it because you're just not sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that, right? So, knowing the emotion behind how we feel about something, there is no one in the world, Marianne, if you and I
Yep.
stand on a cliff and we don't know what we're jumping into, that could be a little scary, right? I'm
Yep.
not saying jump off a cliff into water and it could be 2 feet deep and then you're going to die. I'm saying you got to measure and know that the pond is right for the jumping.
Yeah.
Yeah, but once we're up there, that just becomes the difference between I'm going to do this because it's my first time and I've never done it before. And I know that I'm going to land in the water. I know the water is deep enough for me. So the only thing holding me back right now is me,
Right.
versus, getting to the edge and saying, like, nope, never going to happen. I'm good. Thanks. Going back. I love, one of my daughters created something with my grandkids called a no thank you. And it's a no thank you bite or a no thank you experience. And so if they've never had a food and they say, I don't want that. And she said, I understand you've never had it before. Take one no thank you bite. And the no thank you bite is they take it and they say, no thank you. That's an easy way to say, I don't like it. I would never like it again. Or they taste it and they're like, I like that. Well, see, good. Same with anything they try. If they don't like it, they can say, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But at least they get a choice and they don't have to stay in this bubble of saying no, 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 no when they've not really experienced it. So imagine if more people took the leap,
Right.
the the ideas that people have in their head, but they're afraid to try it or do it
Or say it,
or say it. Oh my gosh, or say it.
which is so like, especially when you're in that corporate space as a
Yeah.
leader, you have to become attuned to your people so that
Mhm.
you can acknowledge and notice, hey, Colleen's not speaking. I can tell by her body language, she's got something to say. And then encourage Colleen to say it.
Yeah.
Right? And doing that sometimes virtually can be really tough. So it's a matter of, well, how do I encourage my team to have their cameras on and all those things, right? But it's important because that, to your point,
There's a safety around that.
yeah,
So, if you want people to I think the container has to be created first for people to feel comfortable enough
yes,
to share and to speak up.
yes.
So that is a lot of in well, corporate America is a great place for that because there were containers that I didn't feel comfortable in speaking
Mhm.
up, or I felt like no one really spoke their mind, and then everyone would get behind closed doors and then say it there. And I was like, "Why are we wasting so much time? Why can't we say what we feel because it's my opinion. It should not offend anybody in the room. It's my opinion, and I'm
Yeah,
allowed to have an opinion." And that level of respect for other people needs to start at the top to permeate itself downward.
that's correct. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So in your bio, it ends with, networking
Oh,
basically drives your net worth. What? Tell me more about that.
I say supercharge your network, skyrocket your net worth.
Mhm.
A good example, Robert Kiyosaki, one of my favorite authors, he lives here in Phoenix where I live. He said his one visit on Oprah Winfrey because of his book changed his entire life. It's called the Oprah effect,
Oh
right?
yeah.
There's a Tiger Woods effect in golf. Anytime he shows up, you get about another 10,000 people register and go to an event. It's crazy. So, networking is really about expanding your network.
Mhm.
Networking should not be about false conversations to just say, "Hey, man, I'm Colleen Biggs. What do you do? This is what I do. Great. Okay. No, we probably can't hire each other. Okay, move on to the next thing." It really needs to be about conversations that start with a relationship and interest in the other person to get to know them. When you start from a relationship standpoint and build a relationship and find common factors like, oh, you have a dog, I have a dog. Oh, you love poodles, I love poodles. Or you have kids, I have kids. You hate kids, me too. I hate kids. No, I'm just kidding. I would never say that. I love my kids.
It
It's
depends.
just a
There
joke.
are some kids
Yeah.
on some days that may not be loved all the way.
You're an empty nester, I'm an empty nester, whatever. So you find common ground and you build off
Mhm.
of common ground. When you do that, why it supercharges your network to do that is because now you have so many other people around you that are opening doors and depositing into what I call your social capital. You're gaining momentum, you're building your leadership, you're now taking leaps, right, to get out of that comfort zone to talk to, meet other people. Maybe they're asking you to do something for the first time. That just kind of ripples and ripples and ripples for yourself. And we continue to grow. Your network alone will skyrocket your net worth. What you know, who's in it, who you bring into it, who you construct in that circle is going to be instrumental on where you go in your career. And you can do this as an entrepreneur and in corporate America.
Yes.
I constructed sponsors, mentors, the right people around me to teach me what I needed to know, really to become the best entrepreneur I could be, because I knew that was the plan. I needed that expertise, that guidance, that I needed that construct for me to grow to be a good entrepreneur and utilize the tools and resources I had at my fingertips to do that.
Yeah, I love it. I talk about it as being almost like the Godfather effect, right? You're coming to me on the day of my daughter's wedding, right? Like you're asking me for a favor. Someday I'm gonna come and ask you for a favor. I think that applies across the board, and
Yeah.
not in a tit for tat kind of scenario, but when you're investing in somebody, when you're able to say, hey, you know what, like I think Colleen's got this really great program, I think you should just check it out, right? And if that person checks it out and then they decide to go with your program, cool, right? That to me is that is so awesome when you can create a network of relationships that allow people to help each other. That's where that servant leadership, that servant mindset, that pouring into others really helps you yourself elevate.
Yeah. Hands down. Hands down. You said it absolutely beautifully. And so I think that kind of brings up a great point for anyone watching. You being in corporate America, maybe you're a manager, maybe you're, a leader of a team or part of a team. People are watching you. And
Mhm.
so your actions, the people you hang around, affiliate yourself with, the conversations you have, the networking you do with people, you build your character based on all of that. So if you don't like the way other people are perceiving you, look in the mirror and look around at who you're hanging out with and figure out what needs to change. Because I think that is the number one thing that I look at in other people is who are they hanging around with? What circles are they running in? And this is for everything.
Mhm.
Who are they doing business with? And do they do what they say they're going to do? Are they trustworthy? And that's
Yeah.
really kind of my meter to say that I want this person in my circle or part of a community of mine or not.
Yeah. That's
Um,
awesome.
I think it's important that we look at that on who we put in the sandbox with us.
Now, you talked about community. You have some really great communities that you've built, and you have events that you do a few times a year. Can you share with the audience what those events are and how that helps individuals build communities with this whole leap culture?
Yeah, taking the leap is scary. And so women that are leaving corporate America, women that are deciding that now my kids are grown and I really want to get serious about this side hobby and make it a business. Women that are, growing businesses, maybe in their second, third, fourth year, you need support. It's different going from corporate America where you have weekly accountability meetings. You've got to bring in the numbers. Those are gone. You now create all of your own accountability, all of your own meetings. So now what you need to do is be part of a community so that other women that are doing what you're doing, building businesses, you're there to be able to bounce ideas off each other, help each other, open doors for each other, create opportunities for each other, get visibility for your brand. Everything to me is about starting with the relationship and then telling everybody about you. So that's what my Leap community is. It's a visibility component to build your digital resume, because we don't have those anymore as entrepreneurs. On Google, someone's looking you up before they're contacting you. I guarantee it. Just like I look up a restaurant before I
Yeah.
call for a reservation because I want to see what they have. I want to check out everything, right?
Yep.
So that's what people are doing for you. So it's important to have that piece. And I believe it's important to come together to empower and elevate people on a regular basis, because that's how we create energy. You want to be a peak performer, caffeine is not going to be the route. You've got to create your own energy. How do you do that? Plugging into the things that recharge you. It will
Mhm.
always be a social something. And some people think, no, being in my pajamas and watching Netflix recharges me. No, that generally grounds you and calms you down, but it's not going to recharge you. The
Mhm.
recharge is when you're around a group of people that pour into you. So the Empower and Elevate conferences I do twice a year, every March, Women's Month, and every November, which is my gratitude month. Those are the 2 months I do it, and I do it so that women can come together to empower each other and to elevate each other. So we have speakers, knowledge, panelists, knowledge, vendors in the room, visibility, right? Relationship building. They're all local. I'm here in Arizona. We have some people fly in for it now. We get 150 to 250 women in the room. And it's a chance for us to really help each other, serve each other, give each other free advice, ask a question, hug someone. I remember one of the ladies in the room that had been running a med spa for years walked up to someone who had just started her own 6 months ago and said, "Hey, here's my phone number. Let me put it in your phone. When you're having a day where you want to quit, I want you to call me."
That's awesome.
She cried so hard that someone would offer that help to her. It's a very lonely world out there, and you might feel lonely even corporate America. You
Mhm.
gotta get a buddy. You gotta have a work mentor, someone that you can lean on, someone that can be there for you to fuel you. Um, and so that's why I do those events. And it just is a place for them to recharge.
That is super exciting, and they're gonna pop up on the screen. You're on all the platforms, which is amazing. If somebody wants to go and learn more about you or about the Empower Elevate events that you have twice a year, where would you direct them to?
I think LinkedIn is, probably one of my favorite platforms to connect with me on. So that's the easiest way for you to just send me a DM message, right? So you'll be able to see me. Kicking. I'm a black belt, so I was doing like a little karate chop in my photo, and there's a community of a lot of the women that surround me, right? Of
Yeah.
they're tall, they're short, they're fat, they're skinny, they're black, they're white, they're brown. They're like women are women, right?
Yep.
So these are the women that are out there just trying to do good in the world. And I love LinkedIn. So I would say that following me on Facebook and Instagram is fun, right? Because you get my business and my life. You get all 12 grandkids, the crazy stuff I do, a little dose of everything in me because I'm very raw and real. Those are always fun, of course. But if you're in business and you want to contact me, through a business app, I think LinkedIn is one of the best ways to do that.
And for those listening, it's Colleen Dash Biggs on LinkedIn. So definitely check her out. All of the get to know you contact, different paths are all going to be dropped into the show notes. So if you are listening and you didn't have a chance to write it down, just click on the show notes and you'll be able to connect with her and really be able to tune in all the cool stuff that she's got going on. Now, I love to take down notes, and you probably saw me with my little pen writing as we were talking. And the reason why is because you're saying so much gold, right? So I love that whole 12-week year book. Go out and read it. But at a high level, you've got to measure the effect of what you're trying to do and your goals and measure the results through weekly accountability. So just like you have weekly accountability at work, you need to have weekly accountability for your personal goals, but then also your entrepreneurial goals. You're burn the boats, not the bridges. That removes that option for retreat, but the bridges allow you to continue to pull people forward with you. Knowing your emotion and where it's coming from is going to help you make the right call on taking that leap, right? So you talked about your story with your granddaughter. Like, is it because you're fearful, or is it that you have this level of excitement you just don't know what to do with, and could that propel you? Do things that make you uncomfortable, and the leap pushes you to through the with the right support. So when you join the leap community, when you go to Empower and Elevate, which are your in-person events twice a year, you're now creating this environment of support around you to help you achieve your goals, really helping other women move forward along with yourself, which I think is just phenomenal stuff. So that this has just been a great conversation, Colleen. I really appreciate your time and joining us on the Might and Motion podcast.
Oh, it's really been awesome. This conversation, how you just wrapped that up was beautiful with a little tight bow. So I would just love everybody listening to this to ask themselves, what can I do differently in 2024 that I didn't do in 2023? Because everyone seems to be doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, but we know that's insanity. So you have to do something different, and don't be afraid. Just go do it. What happens? It doesn't work? Great. At least you tried.
Yeah.
At
I
least
love
you
it.
tried.
At least you tried, and that's half the battle. So
Thank you for joining us on another insightful episode of Might in Motion. Your time and commitment to personal and professional growth is truly appreciated. As you continue your journey, remember the power lies within you. Apply the wisdom shared by our incredible guests. Harness the 4 M's: motivation, momentum, mindfulness, and might, and make your path towards success uniquely yours. If you found today's episode valuable, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback fuels our mission to empower leaders like you. Stay inspired, stay motivated, and always keep your might in motion. Until next time, this is Mariana Kinney signing off, wishing you boundless success on your journey ahead.